you think we should give another 2 minutes before we get started? Let people show up?
Yeah, we can give just a little bit more time. We'll start at 10:10, I guess 10:10 my time. And guys, just so everyone's aware, we are going to record today's session, just so we can share that when we do wrap up here. How's everyone's morning?
Good.
So good.
Good here too.
Great.
It's hot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I can relate with that.
We're only going to be 107 today.
Yeah. That's great grass cutting weather.
Dead grass.
Are working on regional is still usable, but there is some work being done. Is that so that's yeah. So we're here.
Hey Nick, can I get rid of that old session that I seem to be on hold for 2 different sessions here?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say that sounds like Alex.
Alex, if you want to go ahead and get started whenever you're ready.
All right, sounds good. All right, everybody, let me go ahead and share my screen. But what I'm gonna go over, just some basic how-tos. Nothing too crazy. I just want you guys to have some little bit of.
Yeah. And so I made blueberry.
I'm going to keep you guys muted.
Thank you, Nick.
We still have a lot of background noise. Sorry, that's why I unmuted from
It's
somewhere.
okay. It's okay. No worries. Yeah, just wanted to go into some basic tools to help you guys stay organized. I know pretty well what some basic issues that you all run into sometimes. I just wanted to go over some of that, specifically regarding reservation management. When you're inside the reservation center, moving somebody, changing the dates, a little bit of roadblocks that may or may not happen. But I want to make sure you guys are covered. So what I'm going to do, let me go ahead and share my screen. Here we go. I'm sure you all can see that there. Everyone see that? Oh, you guys are muted, but
Yes.
it's projecting over here. Okay, perfect. All right. So one of the things that I want to go over is something that I see a lot, and that is very simple at face value, but again, trying to get into detail so you guys are covered to help you stay on top of these situations when they happen. Specifically, adding a site.
Eddie's over doing Chris's lawns today. Angie just walked in the door. Angie just walked.
There we go. All right. Just moving sites and adjusting dates. I know, up front it may seem like a basic thing, but I want to cover that just to make sure you guys know some of these little hacks, especially that I use. As you all, some of you all know, I'm in the system every day, and I've spoken with you guys throughout the years to help you out, but let's go right into it. So one of the things that I like, or rather that I've seen and that I like to do in this situation, is adding a site to a reservation. And let's just say it's adding a site because the person is moving, because both are kind of one and the same sometimes. If somebody's moving, I like to use the add site feature because you can do a mid-stay move, or in the case of a reservation, as you can see here, if it's in the future, you can always just click on the drop down and move them like that. That's the most basic, but that also only applies for future reservations. If you click on that site number drop down, you can see the list pull up and just move them like that. But let's just move this over to today, right? Just for the sake of the demonstration, from the 19th to the 2nd. According to the system, this person has already started their stay. So let's save that to make it official. Okay. So in a case like this, one thing that I do see a lot of is trying to get this person to move. The mid-stay move is your first recourse, right? Where you can go ahead and just click on the button. The system's going to ask you where you want to move them to. You select the site, and at that point, the system will create that break, right? Where it's from today until, or rather from whenever the check-in date was up until today. It'll put you on the site that they were in, and then the remainder of the stay automatically applies to that site that you picked. But the reason I'm not going to focus on that and more of a site move is because it's something I do see a lot, where you just want to move the person to a different site. It's not necessarily a mid-stay move. You just want to move them. So I want to share this hack because it's pretty convenient, and I'm sure it'll help you all. So what I like to do sometimes is the following. Let's say we're staying here, site 1, right? From the 19th to the 2nd, but I want to move them to another site. Don't want to keep them here. I just want to completely transplant them to a different site. From within the reservation, what I like to do is the following. I will click Add New Site, and my dates are going to remain the same, so I want to make sure they match up there. You can see it in the background, and I'm going to click Search Sites. I'm going to go ahead and pick my site. Doesn't matter really which one it is. I'm just going to do another full hookup. I'm going to click Add Site. What's going to happen is the system is adding another site to this reservation. And again, some of this may be redundant. I'm sure some of you have seen this before. But again, this is just me sharing a hack to help you in these situations, because this is just one way, as they say, there's many ways to skin a cat, right? This is just one way to move somebody. So I have site 1 information up here from August 19th to September 2nd. If I scroll down, I'm going to run into the same information for site 3 down here. So if you're obviously within the same site type, the pricing will be the same. And even if it's not, what I also like to say is be mindful of whatever this is in case you do want to match, in case you do want to honor the original pricing. Keep it in mind. Because what we're going to do is, now that we have our site that this person belongs to here, which is site 3, all we're going to do is delete the previous section, which this delete button down here at the bottom right applies to this whole section up here. So I'm going to remove that. I'm going to say OK. We get our success prompts at the top. And all of a sudden, this person is now in site 3 for the same pricing as before, for the same amount of nights. Now, keep in mind, this is essentially moving somebody from one site to another. Again, if you had them under a different site type and you want to honor the original pricing, you would just simply use your edit site prices and adjust the order of the price. Again, a feature that you may have seen before, but in this case, we're applying it to just simply moving somebody, right? So that's one way. We're going to jump now into option B, which is utilizing a very sleek feature that we have inside availability. Some of you may have heard of it or seen it, but I really want to show you what it looks like. And again, this is a hack that I have learned, that I have shared with some of you, but I want to make sure you all see it so that, you can apply it in future cases. So right now we have this person, Alex Tester, in site number 3. And we want to move them just like we did, but we're not going to use this screen. We're going to go to site availability. Again, we're moving somebody. So I'm going to go here, and I'm sure you've seen this before. There's a lot going on here. I like to do the following. This is the way I troubleshoot issues, and this is the way I help you all sometimes. And definitely think there's a lot of rich material here. So I'm going to just break it down. I'm going to jump between tabs here. Again, I'm in site 3, the 19th through the 2nd. And I want to move this person to just, let's say, another neighboring site. So I'm going to go to site availability. I'm going to keep my 19th date. My to date, if I go back, it's the 2nd of September. So I'm going to go out just one day, September 3rd, just to give myself a little bit of breathing room there. And I'm going to click View All Sites. Now, we're not really done there, because what I want to do is, okay, I have my person in site 3, and I want to move them to site 1, let's just say. So there I am right there. So what I'm going to do is, to make life easier for me, excuse me, I'm going to go up here, and this is a very, very, very critical little step. Again, I call them hacks, but I like to isolate the sites that I'm focusing on. So I'm going to say 1, 3. The comma is there because it's not a range. If I were to put a dash in there, it would show me sites 1, 2, and 3 because it's encompassing everything between 1 and 3. So I'm going to use a comma just to isolate those two. I'm going to click View All Sites. And now we're only looking at those. But the move itself can be done from this screen. Simply, and it's going to give you the logic as to why I chose out one day out in the beginning, because our booking starts here on the 19th, and site availability needs to see the beginning of that reservation in order to move it in this section. All that means is I'm starting with the 19th here. This whole block represents my reservation, and I'm just going to click it and drag it up 1 here. The system's going to ask me, hey, do you want to move from 3 to 1 for these dates? I'm going to say yes. And that's it. What we did in the prior screen, which I'm going to go back here in this tab, where I added the site and then I got rid of the other one. Again, that's option A. Option B, very visual, doing it from site availability, where all we did was take our check-in date. We gave ourselves a little bit of breathing room by giving myself an extra day there on the 3rd so I can just see what's going on there, because let's just say there was a reservation starting around here. It would not have let me move it because there's somebody there. That's why I like to give myself that little bit of slack. So again, all I did was drag and drop. It's really that simple in terms of moving somebody around. In this particular case, 1 and 3 are pretty close to each other, but you know, as we all know from working at the parks, well, you all know more than I do, but these guests can move in many different ways from one side of the park to another, and the sites will not be close to each other. So I can do something like this. You know, if I wanted to see what's going on between this site that they're on and another one, let's just say site 10, same thing. Now you can see, oh, I can't move them there because there's somebody there. Obviously, there's no move there. But if I were to just kind of keep using my comma feature and just, let's say, site 15, I keep seeing what's available. And from here, it's really as simple as dragging and dropping. That's it. Again, this is option B when it comes to moving people around. I know that's something that comes up a lot, and I want to make sure that you guys are aware of your options, because these little hacks do make life a lot easier. It does come up often, and I want to make sure you guys are covered. Okay. So that, again, adjusting the sites of a person that's coming in. And one thing I want to emphasize also is when you all are adjusting your dates, you may run into this where, let's just say, you know, you're trying to move the check-in date back a couple of days because for whatever reason your guests changed their mind. So they're coming in, before. Sometimes you'll do that and you'll be met with a message. Let's just see if I can pick it up here. If I try to move them back to the 5th, okay, it's letting me in this case, but in other cases, you'll see that it won't let you, and obviously because somebody's there. So the same principle applies. If you run into that, just add the site that you're moving them to for the dates that you're moving them to. Then you remove the original site, and that's how you accomplish moving them there without running into that little bit of a roadblock, because what's happening is the system is picking up on the fact that there's somebody staying there between the new dates that you're picking and your current checkout date. It's picking up on that. That's why it's not letting you move them. But by adding the sites separately with the new dates, you completely bypass that. So I want to make sure that that's I like to drill that because it's something I do a lot for testing, and it's something that I want to make sure you guys have in your tool belt when it comes to managing your reservations. All right, so talked about that. That's again why your dates get rejected sometimes when you're trying to move somebody. It's just because the system's picking up on that conflict with another reservation in that site, but you go around it by adding a new site with the new dates that they're moving to, and then removing the original. Okay. Now,
Any questions before we move forward, guys?
yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nick. Yeah, go ahead.
Nope, I'm good.
All right, perfect. We can move on, Alex.
Okay. Thank you, Nick. Okay, so staying within the topic of site availability, this is again, it's a very useful screen. I know the map is something a lot, it depends who you are, whether you're a visual. They're both visual, but the map is more visual in terms of seeing the property. Site availability, going back to that, gives you a lot of different options. And I want to go over some of the basic ones because I feel like reinforcing the knowledge of them is only going to help down the long run. Let me reset my screen here. A lot of times people will avoid the screen because there's just so much going on. But what I like to say is that site availability is there to help you basically chisel away at anything that's excessive to help you get to your goal, which again, whether it's creating a new reservation or moving somebody, this is one of my favorite go-to screens because it's pretty clear on what's going on the site for any given date that you give it. So one of the things is the site numbers. As you just saw, I like utilizing the range or the commas, and I'll just kind of demonstrate it again real quick. So if I go 1-10, for example, see the dash and the commas mean something. The dash gives me a range. If I click view all sites after doing that, all I see are sites 1 through 10. My from and to dates, I can adjust those as well. It could be even 2 days that I have up here. So if I go, let's just say, I want to see what's going on Halloween weekend. I go the 30th to the 31st. I just want to see what's going on with that. I click view all sites. And now I'm only seeing what's going on those 2 dates for sites 1 through 10. Again, these are things that they're already built in. You may have seen it. Maybe you already utilize it, but I like to go over them and reinforce because this is helpful in helping manage your guests, making sure that you move everybody quickly and efficiently when changes do arise. Now, that is a manual effort where I have to type in the site numbers and the dates, and it helps. And again, dash versus comma. If I use a comma and the 10, that's to separate them. Just to reiterate that. Okay. Now that's a manual effort. I'm just going to hit reset here. In this screen, we have built in a tool that you may have seen, which are the groups. And one of the things we've recently released are, by default, you will have your site types built into this screen. So if I go here to the site type dropdown where it says create edit group there, I click on that. You have groups, which are something that's been created internally by staff. So these groups can be created, and we'll go over that in a second. But then you also have site types. Now the site types are whatever's been created in the system under site management. And it's just built in because it does help narrow down what you're looking at. So if I were to select full hookup as one of my site types, right, that's already there, and I leave it on its own, and mind you, I'm not typing anything here because this will overwrite the groups if I'm typing in site numbers, and I'm looking at August 19th through October 18th, and I click view all sites, the system is only showing me the sites that belong to that group, full hookups, right? Every site that you see here along the left is all going to show full hookup as its site type. That's what that tool is there for. Again, it's calendar based, right? If you will, it's the calendar view so that you can see what's going on. It can be applied to multiple site types at once. So electrical only and my full hookups, let's just say I can encompass those two. View all sites, nothing happens until you click that button and then it loads. So all you're looking at is whatever criteria you are feeding the system. Again, I look at it as you're kind of like chiseling away the fat to get to the core of what you want, which is I want to put this person in site 1, but I want to see what's going on from these dates to these dates, and maybe I want to see what's going on for full hookups for those dates, right? The map also allows you to single out site types. But again, in this case, this is the calendar view. We're just sharing this today. We will likely have another webinar in the future where we cover the map. But today I want to focus on site availability and make sure you guys are covered with knowing these tools on a level that's going to, again, like I keep saying, making life easier. Any questions on those functions within site availability?
Alex, this is Jerry.
Go ahead.
When y'all made a change, because I use site availability all the time, and
Sure.
If I mess up at the end of the month when I do the billing, and I want to go back and see if somebody had a balance forward, y'all changed the colors, and then if you can go back a month, it doesn't show me what I want to see.
Okay. So in other words, like it shows all grayed out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
because
that's
sometimes I'll forget to move a balance forward if they've got something, and then I got to go back
Gotcha.
to reservation and
Gotcha. Okay. I see what you're saying. So that's a good point. And what happens is site availability, and this is a good point to bring up because it does break down the way the screen behaves, right? So site availability always starts from the current date, right? It's a very core feature. It just goes starting today, going forward. Tomorrow when we sign in, it's going to start from the 20th. The day after, it's going to start from the 21st. So it's going to show you past data, but it's not meant to necessarily, how do I say, like go into detail regarding past reservations from this screen because it is going to show grayed out no matter what. It's really only meant to be used for today going forward. That is a good point to bring up, though. In a case like what you're describing for balances, I would say there's different reports, especially the arrivals and departures report. Even if they left in the past, you can go and punch in dates in the arrivals and departures report that are in the past, and that report will show you anyone with a balance. It's just one of many workarounds, but again, just to highlight what you brought up regarding why the colors are different, that is something that the system, or rather site availability, will do. It will show you the dates and some of the activity for the past, but it's not prioritizing it, which is why it shows grayed out, which is why you see it the way it does. And if anybody wants to know what he's talking about, I'll kind of go back in time here. Today's the 19th. I'm just going to go from the 5th to, let's not make this time range so much, to next week. And you'll see what it looks like. And there you go. Right? Like everything is in the past, so it's just graying it out. And you're not going to see any active statuses like, like the check marks and all that. That is not going to show up, and it will not show up. But again, that's only because this particular screen is not meant to prioritize that info from the past. in a case like what you're describing, Jerry, it's going to be more like reports. And I would highly recommend the arrivals departures because it may actually help you out more because it's laying it out to you in a list format where you can just see at a glance everybody's got zero balance except Joe Schmo. You know what I mean? And then you can single them out in one shot there. I would recommend the reports for that, particularly the arrivals and departures report.
Okay. Well, it lets me move balance forward if I catch one to the one that's got a color now.
Yeah,
And
no,
I
I know
may
what you
miss
mean.
that. Yeah.
You
Okay.
could, yeah, and that's a good point. You could do that also if you pull up, for example, again, the arrivals departures, you see somebody has a balance, you can drill into it and move the balance from there, from the reservation and move it over.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I've figured out. I'll figure out a way to work around it. I was just looking. Like I said, I use this all the time, and it
I got
is
you.
really cool. So
I got you. I got you covered. All right. Anybody else? All right. So, there you go. Yeah. Also, Bills Due Report is another handy tool that will highlight balances. And Bills Due Report, again, it kind of goes out way into the future. You'll notice it kind of goes out 2 years because we have a lot of situations where guests are staying long term. So you have recurrences that go out that far. So you will see balances also in the Bills Due Report. That is another great tool for looking at any pending balances. Um, all right, so I've covered some pretty core tools in terms of everyday use. Um, Nick, I have one more topic that'll maybe take up 5 or 10 minutes, or we can save it for the next one, or if you want to open it up for Q&A.
Let's go ahead and show off the last feature, and then we'll leave the last handful of minutes for Q&A.
Okay. Perfect. All right. So the last topic that I have here are recurrences. Okay. Now, all I'm going to do is go over the basic setup of recurrences because I feel like it's another one of those topics that are very consistent in terms of trying to keep everybody organized as far as your guests go. So let's go back to my example here just to give you a quick demo of what I'm talking about. So I'm back in the reservation log here under the reservation center, and I'm here under my reservation that I created. So my rule of thumb for recurrences is you want to set up your people, especially if they're on a month-to-month format, set up your first month first. Rule of thumb is always set up your first month first because that's where everything's going to launch from when it comes to creating your recurrences. And all that means is I'm going to change my check-in date from the 1st of August. And again, the date-to-date format relates to it going from the date that you're picking as your check-in to the same number of the following month for your checkout. That's what date-to-date refers to. So I'm going to say the 1st of September as my checkout date. The system resets. It's going to ask you, it's recognizing what I'm doing. So it's saying, hey, do you want to make this a monthly recurring? Now, normally I would say hit yes, and it's going to walk you through the steps that I'm about to show you. But for the demonstration, I'm going to hit no so we can see what that looks like because I want you guys to be empowered. I want you all to see what it takes to create those recurrences from scratch so that once you start using the automated feature and maybe maybe you pick the wrong date or something happens, you can go back, deconstruct it, and fix it accordingly. So I'm going to hit no here. And I'm just going to be left with my August 1 through September 1 start off point. I'm going to hit update information. This is a key step that often gets missed because what'll happen is I'll pick my dates here and then I'll go straight down here to the bottom, which is my next step, right? Set up reservation recurrences to get things going. I'll hit, monthly with end date or ongoing, and the system will tell me, hey, no, there's you can't do this because there's something in the way or whatever the case. The reason that happens is because we haven't written against the system that these are the dates now. We just changed them. It updated. It even gave me the accommodation for this, but we haven't saved it yet. So the system doesn't know that yet, technically. We know that, but we haven't saved it. So after you set up your first dates here, your first month, make sure you save right away. Right? So now the system knows, okay, these are the official dates, and we can now go off creating our recurrences off this block of dates that we've created from the 1st to the 1st, August through September. The very next step, again, it would be automated based on that prior window, but we're gonna bypass that so that we can kind of go into the core, the meat and potatoes, if you will, of what it takes to create these recurrences. So when it comes to these, you'll notice there's many options. The most commonly used one is going to be ongoing monthly, or rather monthly with end date. Now, what's the difference? Ongoing monthly is going to automatically generate an entire year of recurrences for you. So that's 12 months out into the future. That's what ongoing monthly refers to. And it's even when you create those, it's going to have a little red icon once all is said and done, a little red text rather, that's going to say that this is ongoing. So it's indicating to you, oh, this person's long-term year, right? Equals a year. Monthly with end date is exactly that. And I'll show you that in a second. But if I click on this, it's asking me, what date do you want the recurrences to end? It could be a year, or it could be 2 years. It could be 5 years. It's up to you. So you're the one deciding there. You're the one driving the ship. Ongoing monthly does it for you automatically 1 year. So for today's demo, I like to use monthly with end date just because, again, I get to show you previous reservation, continue with this method, confirm. That's just an auto pay message there that it's enabled. So from here, in this recurring window,
Alex,
we're going to
real
say,
quick, I got a question in the chat
go ahead,
from
go ahead.
Lisa. It says, does that continue to roll? Does that continue to roll to keep it at a year, or just for 1 year time frame?
Just for 1 year time frame. So what'll happen is at the end of the year, you can decide to keep it ongoing or just to basically cut it off. But basically, the main feature is to push it out 1 year automatically without you having to pick the date.
Great. Thanks, Alex.
Of course, you're welcome. And yeah, if you guys want to chime in, by all means. I know that recurrences are a big deal, especially with your long-term guests, and we want to make sure they're covered, therefore making you be covered. So here in this screen, again, we can choose to do a year if we wanted to. We can do a year and 2 months. It really is up to whatever format you have. But again, for the sake of today's demo, I'm going to say my end date is going to go into, let's just say February 1st. Once I clicked, oh, site is not available. There's somebody there. Okay. Thought I cleared these out. In either case, it doesn't matter. What happens is the system will tell you there's somebody basically occupying the sites that you're on. In order to proceed, you would have to move them or cancel them, whatever the case. In this case, I can't move my person, or rather, I can't create my recurrences because these individuals are there. These names are taking up space under that site. Let's see if I go back in time because I may have cleared it out just for a couple of months. Let's just say December 1st. There we go. So I've created recurrences for the month. My first month is already established, so I have August 1 through September 1. I gave it an end date of December 1, which means the entire month of November. It doesn't include the month of December. It's just going off of the 1st again. And it created my recurrences down here. September 1 through October 1, October 1 through November 1, etc., with the last one ending on December 1st. This screen allows you to set that up. Again, the difference being that you decide whatever that last date is and tell it to end the recurrences there. You can edit the individual months from here if you need to for whatever reason, or this particular feature right here gets utilized a lot where maybe this person just has a different rate that they pay for whatever reason. Maybe it's a worker and they pay a different rate. So I can say, you know, they only owe 800. And this right here, whatever I type in here will override everything here. Right? That overrides everything. I'm going to leave it blank. And I am going to click confirm. Oh. Let's go back into my reservation here. Okay. Reserved. There we go. Okay. So what the system did was it saved my recurrence. For some reason, it didn't do all of them. But if I click on my reservation number, which is now a link, you'll see that it captured the September 1 through October 1. Not sure why it didn't go out through December, but in any case, the same thing would have happened. It's just filling in the dates that I picked, and the last one will always show at the bottom here, showing you the recurrences. You can delete them from this window if you want. Go to the reservation directly from here. And again, these are what we call in-house. You'll hear us say this a lot. These are child reservations because they came from this main one here, 9C49, CD1, that's the parent reservation. So the remaining recurrences that are basically daisy chained to this one are called the child reservations. Now, I'll leave you with this, when it comes to recurrences, I'll leave you with this last tip because I like doing this because it makes, again, life easier for you guys to see what's going on with recurrences. Instead of having to drill into this first month and then click here, which again, very convenient once you're in here. But if you want to see what's going on with your recurrences from the outside before even drilling in, if I go back to my reservation log, all I have to do is look for that name, in this case, Alex Tester. Reset here just in case. If I type in the name of that person and I hit the name, all the reservations for that name will pop up and my recurrences pop up here as well. So if I kind of adjust my dates here, there we go. Looks like it did capture some of them there. But in any case, they will show up here in chronological order, so you can see it all at once, and you don't have to drill into that first reservation I created to see the subsequent months. You can just see it from out here just by typing in the last name and adjust your check-in and check-out date order if you need to see them in the order you want to see it in. So that's just one more little thing about recurrences that I like to do just to see what the big picture is when it comes to your guests. Those are the main points that I wanted to go over in today's webinar. We will have more, particularly regarding the reservation center, which is what I'll be mainly covering. Any feedback is welcome. Any questions that you all have, by all means, ask, and we can go into that.
All right, Alex, but when you just did your reoccurring, I like that too. But when I go to site availability, it helps me get a mental picture of it too, because I can see them struck out there. When I noticed your reservation, and this really doesn't have anything to do with what you're saying, but when you have the deposit that they take or that we take when they're monthly, and they come in, if they come in like around say the 4th or 5th,
okay,
I'll go ahead and prorate them for the rest of the month, and it doesn't automatically put that deposit in there. So I do it as a billing extra. But then sometimes the next month when I do the reoccurring and when they go and get billed, it'll add it then.
That's where it shows up. Okay.
Yes.
So that is a really good point to bring up. And here's how I'm going to dissect that.
Real quick, Alex, I apologize. And Jerry, I apologize for you as well here. Unfortunately, our timer is going to run out here in just a little bit. So if you don't mind, Jerry, I'll have Alex schedule some time for you guys to chat a little bit more about kind of how that process would work. Just so we can kind of keep today's session mostly about the reservation center, the reservation log and site availability. So I don't want our timer to cut you off here.
I can reach out to you, Jerry.
Yeah, we'll do it later. Thanks.
No worries.
All right, guys. So before we do wrap up on today's webinar, any final questions about what we've covered today? No, nothing today. Perfect. Well, guys, be on the lookout because I will be sending this out again in our monthly newsletter. We will be doing these webinars about once a month, so definitely be on the lookout for more invites. I believe next month we are going to be covering rate management, including use of our new AI tools. If you guys haven't taken a look at those, definitely recommend becoming familiar with them. But otherwise, a great session today. Be on the look for a quick questionnaire for the people who attended today. Just letting us know how today went, how you felt the call went, and any other topics you'd like to see us cover in the future. But other than that, guys, we will be wrapping up there. So if no other questions, enjoy the rest of your day, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day. Bye.